Well, should we just get into it? I just kind of started.
Go for it.
The movie you're making me watch today is 2018's Burning. Not to be mistaken with 2021 Burning about Australian wildfires. This one's a Korean adaptation of Murakami. It's Barn Burning. Also not to be mistaken with William Faulkner's Barn Burning, written, I think, 50 years prior. No relation.
Well, actually, I guess there is some similarities as well.
It's definitely inspired by Faulkner's story.
Sure.
Yeah, because there was Faulkner with
on the surface.
the
no
movie.
relation.
But yeah, it's kind of somewhat
Sure,
based
yeah,
off
in the movie.
One's based off of one, one's based off of the other, in a way.
In Murakami's Barn Burning, they do not mention William Faulkner, I'm pretty sure.
Right. I guess the Faulkner's version has something to do with like generational things. Like it's more about the father and son and like having to burn a barn or something like that. Maybe it ties into the whole mother story in Burning.
Yeah,
I don't know. I heard it on a different podcast. So I'm not.
Did your mother
sure.
watch this movie?
I doubt it. She might like it. I'm not really sure. She probably thinks it's maybe boring because I think you guys thought it was boring.
Directed by Lee
Chang-dang.
Lee Chang-dang.
Lee Chang-dang. Yeah.
Lee Chang-dang. Director Lee. What is your word, Jake?
Mysterious?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Or I have another one too, but I'll let you.
Don't worry about it. Schwartz?
All right, cool.
I'm going to go bleak.
Cool. It is bleak.
What about you, Anthony?
Metaphorical.
There you go. I like that one.
What's your other word, Jake?
It was nuanced, but I think the metaphorical is
Metaphorics.
metaphorical ties into that whole nuance thing.
Yeah. Burning. What's it about? It's about a lady named Jaime, a guy named Jong-soo, and a guy named Benjamin.
Yeah, just Ben. I don't think I ever call him Benjamin in the movie.
Yeah, well, Ben's short for Benjamin most of the time.
Is it in Korea though?
If you're gonna name your kid Ben, might as well go whole hog, right? I mean, we can ask the director later when he's
I don't know.
on part 2 of this podcast.
I know one of my buddies is named Andy, and he's Chinese, but his actual Chinese name is like Xinand or something. Like I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know,
Is it Andy?
It's not, doesn't pronounce Andy, but he took the AND in his word and made that kind of his Americanized name, if you will. And I think the Ben character, I think his name's Ben because they try to make it more Americanized because he was like the almost Americanized person. Like he's the richer guy. He's not as rooted in Korean as the others necessarily would be.
Root it, kaboot it.
Well, maybe not rooted isn't necessarily the word, but he's more like westernized.
I mean, he is American
his lifestyle.
In true.
Stephen Yun?
Yeah.
Is he? He's truly American? I thought he was from Korea, but I could be wrong.
He was born in Korea. He moved at the age of 5. Do your research, bro.
I was doing other research. There's a lot of research on this one. A lot going on.
Yeah, right.
A lot of ins and outs.
Actors.
What do you mean?
I'm just kidding. I think he might have moved to Canada. Either way, he's North American of some sort.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot going on with him. I know the star Yu Ah-hin. I don't know how to pronounce that dude's name, but I know he's very big in Korea as well. Like he's very famous over there. Stephen Yun's more famous over here. I mean, he could be famous in Korea as well.
The director of this movie is pretty legendary over there too.
Yeah, he does. Dude, his fucking movies.
They call him
wildly
such
depressing.
reverence. Are they?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I could see that.
I saw 2 of his movies. I'll give you a rundown of one of them right off the bat. One of them is about a woman who is suffering from Alzheimer's, and she discovers that her grandson raped a girl with a bunch of friends of his, and that girl killed herself. And now this grandmother is responsible for paying off the family member of this girl when she doesn't have the money to do it, and she's getting pressure from outside outside people that were also part of the group, because it was like a group of guys that gangbanged this girl or raped this girl, and that the girl that killed herself, and then this old lady ends up having to do all this like fucked up shit just to like raise money, and she's also suffering from Alzheimer's, and she gets into poetry. It's a very beautiful movie called Poetry, and then
You have a good point. I guess gangbang doesn't always mean rape.
true, there's consensual gangbangs.
True.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
I'm sure we've all seen the movies.
Not in this movie. There is a lot of beating off in this movie.
Oh yeah.
What's up with that? Director Lee.
Dude's erotic, man. A lot of weird. He's a weird guy. Into dark shit.
Dude's erotic.
I mean, this movie isn't.
That should be your shirt for this thing. Dude's erotic, man.
Dude's erotic.
I mean, this movie isn't as depressing as his other work. I saw two of his other movies, one like Secret Sunshine and The Poetry. Secret Sunshine's another movie about a
Secret
woman
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind
who lost her husband and then later lost her son. So that's
So the poetry
It's a
one
whole
sounded
thing.
kind of interesting, but that one just doesn't.
Poetry is very good. Poetry is arguably, I don't know, I'm not sure if I like it more than I like Burning, but I think both of those movies are fantastic. Poetry is very interesting. Poetry is very good. You should watch it if you want to be sad, especially. But it's very.
I mean,
Not a
I
big
like
sad
dramatic
guy.
movies. I do like movies that invoke those feelings. Those are always
Yeah.
pretty solid movies.
super dramatic, very
Definitely.
in-depth.
I like when people
movie.
tell me about those movies.
Right.
And then I go watch Top Gun.
Yeah.
You watch Top Gun?
I have not seen Top Gun yet. I'm fucking up. I haven't done it.
Yeah. Have you seen it yet, Schwartz?
I'm not gonna see it.
You're not gonna see
Well,
Top Gun?
You don't like good. You don't like good movies.
I mean, I watched.
We already know that, but go ahead.
In anticipation of the watching this new one, I watched the first one and I was just like, nah. First one was so bad, I don't even want to see the second one.
The first one.
Second one's probably gonna be a little better than the first one.
Is trash compared to the second one. The second one's actually
Yeah?
like a good story, very well shot.
And they put 6 cameras
I
in a
saw-
fucking fighter jet.
I saw all the behind the scenes of it, so yeah, it does look pretty epic. But I honestly, if I don't see it in theaters, I don't think it's probably worth it. You got to see
So
that.
go. Stop what
It
you're doing right now.
I was more impressed by the story of Top Gun in itself. I went for the action and the just how it was
Yeah.
shot and everything like that. But the
I'm giving
story
a
was
skeptical face as well.
surprisingly well done. So I was surprised by Top Gun. I was very hesitant as well. It took me like a month to go.
Is Top
I
Gun
don't like
Korean?
the first one. Top Gun's not Korean. Maybe there's a Korean version. That'd be cool.
Were they fighting the Koreans? Probably not, because then they couldn't
I
sell
don't
it to
think
Korea.
so.
Who were they fighting?
So I was listening to a podcast
I
yesterday.
don't even
It was
remember.
the Always Sunny podcast, and they were talking about how in the movie they never tell you exactly who they're fighting. They never name a country.
That's
They
what
never
I thought.
name anything because they don't want to upset anybody.
Yeah, you know why?
Makes
Because
sense.
China.
Yeah, I think in the movie in the podcast they were talking about, they were alluding to it being Russia actually.
Either way, that's
first
billions of dollars lost
No,
if it
the
doesn't
second
air in
one.
Russia.
Okay.
They
People
said
used to
that.
not give a fuck about Russians.
Yeah,
I can't even recall who they were. Like, I don't think it was.
I think that was the
You're totally
point.
right. It was
They
very
made it
much
so it's very ambiguous.
What sucks is we haven't been attacked lately. It can't be brown people because like we're cool with them now. Can't be like, yeah, it's got to be ambiguous. Can't be China because that's where 90% of the market goes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Can't be Russia because they might bomb us.
I feel like, isn't Russia homies with China? I could be very wrong by that.
Homos?
Homies, friends, allies.
You think Russia and China butt fuck?
I thought they might, but I don't really know. I don't
Me
know the
neither.
inner politics of
I
that
would
side
watch
of
that.
the world. I know what's going on in America,
they're definitely
Korea, and Korea
buddies.
too.
Buddies. That's cool.
Um,
So what's this movie about? Let's get out of China, go to Korea.
All right. Well, this movie opens up with what's his character's name? Junsu. Junsu kind of walking around town. He finds Jaime. They are old friends. They grew up in the same village. He doesn't recognize her at first because she tells him that, "Oh, I'm much prettier now. You might notice from the plastic surgery I had." And they start hanging out.
Before you keep going, we should say that the way this movie is shot and the way that the tone is given and the music from the moment it starts, you realize that this is a dark movie. Like you realize that this is going to be a bleak movie. It's very serious. I think that really sets the stage because even like when the camera lingers on the two girls just like doing their thing and like talking shit, like, and everybody moving around. Just it seems like that from the music that everything's gonna be pretty.
I wasn't
pretty
really
serious.
getting an ominous tone from it right away.
Maybe not ominous, but serious. Like there was this movie was gonna be, it's gonna take itself seriously. Like this isn't gonna be.
It wasn't a comedy
where they're fucking around. Like and that's what drew me in first. That's what drew me in about this movie. I was like, all right, cool, I'm in for that.
Yeah, I think tonally it's not, it's not funny. But yeah, I think that it has somewhat of a dramatic feel to it. It kind of reminds me.
Is there not one point where you laughed in this movie? The very end.
I mean, when he was jerking off for the first time in the room by himself, I laughed pretty loud.
Yeah,
like, that's pretty fucked up. I think I was what I thought. Just jerking off in her bed while she's not there.
Yeah, he did it every time.
I know. The first time I left.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. He every time he went there to feed this invisible cat, he fucking was jerking off on her window.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
Looking at the Seoul Tower.
Yeah. So they meet. They kind of become chummy and all that such.
Yeah,
and
they bang.
They bang fairly quickly. I know they go out to eat. She does this. She starts talking about how she's going to go on a trip. She's going to go to Africa.
She's kind of a free spirit, this one.
Definitely a free spirit. She talks about pantomiming and like acting and all this stuff. And
that was a good scene when she did the whole eating the fruit thing. That was pretty dope. I love how she like explained that that's what acting is, and I thought it was a really cool explanation of it.
Yeah, and I think those little conversations, they don't necessarily seem important at the time, but they definitely tie into the bigger picture of of things
big
you believe, like you got metaphors, the nuances, all that stuff. Like how Junsu later, he kind of has things in his mind. He believes things to be a certain way, yet no one really knows what's going on throughout this movie, which is great. So little conversations like that I think are key. Again, they at that dinner, she does the pantomime thing, talks about acting, talks about going to Africa, and then she eventually asks him to take care of her cat. And what's interesting about this thing is the cat, we never see the cat. This is sort of like a Schrodinger's cat reference of like, is the cat really there? Is there a cat, or is she just fucking with this guy?
Well, that was a cool scene too, is when she takes him back to her apartment and she lives in this little rinky-dink one-room place, and she starts calling out a name. What was it? What was the name?
Boyle,
because the boiler room. And you're like, what the fuck? Room. At first, I thought there was going to be a kid. I was like, what the fuck? And then when he talks about they couldn't find the cat, I was like, and then I remembered the story that Anthony told me, because Anthony was explaining this story to me, and I read it a long time ago, and I was like, oh, this is the part of that story is going to be the cat thing. Mm-hmm. It was cool though. That was
what's Schrodinger's cat, Jake?
That's it's something like someone's
not
given
vegan friendly.
No, it's not. Someone's given a box, and inside of the box there's a cat, but you don't know if the cat's alive or dead. So there's some sort of like parallel in that moment of there's two realities. So there's either a dead cat or there's a live cat, and you don't really know what's going on. So in this situation, there's a cat or there's not a cat. We don't know because we never really see the cat in her apartment. He sees cat food. There's someone's eating this cat food. Someone's taking a dump in this litter box.
Yo, when he went there, jumping a little bit ahead, we can go back. But when he goes there and the landlord's like, yo, we don't have any cats in the building. Like we don't have any pets in the building. My thought was, who's pooping in the thing then? Is she pooping in that just to fuck with him? And she has tiny poops or what?
Yeah. So, and that's what's wacky about this character. There's so much to hide.
There's a lot we don't know.
We don't know if she's telling the truth, and we learn that more about her later. That she's kind of a bullshitter.
That's definitely the best part of this movie is not really.
She's like a Gone Girl.
Fuck, she is. Like, she was one of the most mysterious characters ever. Like, and she was interesting, and that's what made her good. Yeah. Like, you were kind of enthralled by her. At least I was. She was a good actress.
By the end, and if I'm not mistaken, was that her debut?
I don't know.
I know she hasn't been in much. We can
somebody Google. Hey JJ, Google that. Ray, Google that. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't know. She's an enigma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And by the end,
that was her first acting credit.
She was good.
By the end, I mean, maybe we should wait, but we don't even know if they even fucking knew it. I mean, we knew they grew up.
Well, we did together, because they saw he ended up seeing her family.
Yeah, so we knew they grew up together, but everything she said from we don't know point that we don't know if any of that was true.
True.
Them any of their interactions that she says that because he doesn't remember shit.
Because she even told a story about how he called her ugly when she was little, or when they were younger, and he didn't remember.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you could be right. Like she could be bullshitting this whole time. And there's also something about her that's clearly always.
Maybe that's not even Jaime, dude. Or
it might not be.
Yeah.
But there's clearly
I thought that for like 40% of this movie after they met, I was like, this bitch isn't his girl, bro.
She don't know girl, dude. She's fucking honey dicking him.
I think the family thing was the only thing to really confirm it because they also mentioned that she's like
confirmed that Jaime is a real person, but not
confirmed that she was who she. No, kinda,
because nobody saw her and them together. She got plastic surgery. Like we didn't see her with her when he's talked to his mom. We didn't see her when he talked to her mom or her parents or whoever family that was at the ramen shop.
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't there, so we don't know that.
But she was also missing from them as well. So,
yeah,
but she also wasn't. She also wasn't in communication with them for a long time.
Yeah, because of her debts. Yeah, that like she went there and her parents were like, there wasn't no fucking well. She didn't fall in no fucking well. She's fucking in debt with the sharks. We told her to go.
Yeah, and everyone's like, there's no well. Other than one character, which we'll get to later.
Has been dead for 49 years.
Yeah, it's been 47 years.
It's the prequel to The Ring.
I thought about it actually a good prequel idea to this movie.
Oh yeah,
I wanted to get into that later. We'll get to that. Remind me if possible. Anywho, so Jaime is clearly she wants to be in a higher status than she is. Like we know that we've gathered Jaime is poor. She has this like lame job on the street, like selling raffle tickets. She has this tiny shitty apartment. She got plastic surgery.
Apartment's about the same size.
True. She had plastic surgery. She's
bathroom.
She talks about this idea of little hunger and great hunger. She clearly has the great hunger because she wants more out of life. That's kind of what it is. Little hunger is someone. Little hunger is someone who's just physically hungry, like they need to eat. They haven't eaten in a while, so they're just hungry.
Like great hunger.
Yeah, great hunger is the desire for more in life, the desire for a bigger life, a grander life. She doesn't have that. The
desire for more meaning,
always trying to get it, and I think that's why she starts hanging out with this Ben guy later, which we meet shortly after this this scene of her asking him about the cat, asking him to take care of the business, and then
they have sex.
They have sex. They consummate some sort of relationship. So it seems for Junsu, he basically has this girlfriend. He's clearly falling for her because I also think this is probably one of the only girls that have given him the time of day. Like he seems like this slack jawed kind of loser guy that just kind of shuffles around town, doing shuffles around.
Talk about Pig
when they were
work.
When they were banging too, and she was telling him about the one beam of sunlight that comes in reflecting off the tower, and he bangs her. And I think he pretty much busted in her and saw the light. I thought that was
he
pretty
saw
awesome.
The light, and then the light went dim.
It did
because you only get those gleaming. You only get those gleaming moments in life.
Sad.
Yeah, you get the only.
I think that signifies. I think that the relationship between those two right there. That was the moment. That was it. That was the shining. That was the best it's gonna get. And then from then on out, it's
everybody high five and get the fuck out of here.
Very much
go,
so.
Dude. Don't come feed that cat. Get the.
I'm
fuck
going
that
to
cat.
Africa. They ain't no cat, bitch.
Yeah. So so eventually she leaves. We see a little bit more of Junsu's home life, which is he lives on a farm.
Did we say exactly what she said when she was eating the orange? She said, it's not about imagining something there. It's forgetting that it's not there.
Yes, that was awesome.
I think that's kind of
something like that. Yeah,
it's not something like that.
It was that. Okay.
That was it.
I thought it was more believing that something's there, but so I could be wrong.
Yeah. The moment you believe something's there, it's almost that's toward the end. They say that the moment you believe something's there, it's almost impossible to forget it is. But it's not believing something's there. It's forgetting that it's not there. That's what it's the fucking orange thing, and the cat maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the cat, and later it's her.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Did she ever
gone.
exist in the first place?
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We just talked about that.
Exactly.
All right, so he's beaten off in her room. She's in Africa.
He more about his home life first. Like he lives on this barn, or lives on a farm.
Talk about his dad too.
Yeah, the dad's
Fuck his dad.
some important part. Well,
It's part of his story.
Ties in. It's definitely part of his story.
I'm kidding.
That's why he's there.
Let's not leave that part of the movie out.
His dad is on trial for assaulting a police officer. There was some sort of disagreement where he beat up a cop, and now he's being held.
It was a government worker, I think. I don't know if they said
I thought it was another farm worker. I thought it was a guy from another farm.
Man, I thought it was. I think you're right. It might have been a government worker. And
I think they just said
painted that as a cop in my head. I think you're right. I think because it was something about the land. There was a land dispute, so I think there was something, probably like a government worker coming to talk to him about his land. This is just the picture I think I painted.
They did go and talk to other farmers, and another farmer said that he was not a nice guy, but I don't think he had anything to do with that. I think he was just one of the neighbors that his son wanted him to sign the petition.
Yeah, because the petition said something about him being like just a friendly neighbor, and he's like, well, to be honest with you, he was never friendly.
Yeah, he was like, well, that don't matter, bitch. Sign this.
Yeah. So clearly, his dad is his dad's an asshole. Like,
there is no spoon.
That's gathered. While that's also going on, I think we know that his parents are divorced. I think that comes up at some point. I know they get into that more later.
Also because of his dad's temper.
Yes, mostly because of his dad, and he's also getting phone calls, like random phone calls in the middle of the night.
What was that all about?
Well, that's his mother. We learned that later. Well, we don't know. It ends up being his mother does call, but we don't know if that's his mother the whole time.
Nothing is completely giving an exact.
There's really
not one thing.
There's a lot of ambiguity.
That's what kept me. I said this movie was a slow burn, and I think you think I wasn't going to like it, but I did like it because of how mysterious it was. As slow burning as it was still like everything that was happening. I was like, I'm interested in this. Like, what the fuck? It's like, why? It's just this is weird. Like, it's a little journey. You know what I mean? That story is.
We went on a journey.
We went on a journey in this movie. This movie was
didn't feel
journey.
It didn't feel like 2.5 hours really once you were into it.
I agree.
It's not that it felt long. It's just the way that the script was. It's just everything is just drawn out. You're just experiencing this. You're basically just living with this dude. You know what I mean? You're just living this day in this life. Is this?
You're paced.
The pace doesn't change. I don't think throughout. The pace is pretty steady. There's definitely times later of like suspense and like the thrill of Ben or John, you like essentially following Ben. Like I thought that shit was really suspenseful. Like they did a really good job with the music, with the car driving scenes. They did a really good job.
Porsche.
Yeah, no, this movie was really made really well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I thought you were complaining that it was boring, but slow burn isn't necessarily
it was long. But it didn't necessarily feel I wasn't ever bored, but it was 2.5 hours.
So you guys liked it generally? Yes.
Don't put words in my mouth.
I like this movie.
Just asking. Did
Don't
you
ask.
like it? Did you
I definitely
like
need to. I definitely need to watch it again. I only saw it once.
So that's what I was saying to watch it before. Because here's a great way to watch it. Because I saw this a couple years ago, and I kind of forgot about.
We don't have 2 years to watch this movie, dude.
I know. I forgot a lot of random details. But once they got to the part, I will jump ahead a little bit. Once they got to the part where he found that drawer full of women's stuff in his bathroom, it clicked to me. I'm like, oh, this dude's a fucking serial killer. Because the first time around, I don't think I didn't really think about that the girl stuff too much. I thought, oh, this guy's just a player. He's got a bunch of girlfriends, whatever. Because the first time around, I didn't know anything about the movie at all. I didn't realize like he probably killed Jaime, and he gets killed later. So the second watch,
again,
I was able to look at it and frame him as if Ben's a serial killer. If you watch it in that perspective, it makes it a little bit more interesting in that sense of that, like you see the weird shit that Ben's doing. He's very meticulous with what he says, what he does, that weird charm. He's got like kind of a bit of a dead,
he's like a psycho calm.
Yeah, he's like the Ted Bundy or like Patrick Bateman of of this genre, but
it definitely justifies the ending. Then if you can go with that,
yeah. And what's interesting because this movie is heavily also about perspective because the entire thing is completely from John Su's perspective.
Yeah.
So we don't know that he's a serial killer. Usually in movies, we see a serial killer, we know that they're the serial killer. But if this guy's a serial killer and like how he talks about
the only reason we think he's a bad guy is because of John's.
This is my theory. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no
but because you're right. It's all from his perspective, which is, and that's why he's framed that way.
He's just a guy jerking off in other people's beds, and we're listening. He's our narrator. He's the guy. He's the guy.
Somebody a serial killer. It's fucking him. Jerk off, dude.
Yeah. What?
Jerk off, dude. Pooping in litter boxes.
Yeah, because like the first time I saw this, the conversation I have later about him burning the greenhouses, I thought he was just talking about burning greenhouses. This dude, that's a whole giant metaphor for him murdering people, and especially murdering poor people. I guess I didn't think about that the first time around, and then because I didn't know what this was about.
When I read it, I didn't think that until like I thought about it. But like when I read the first time, I was just like, this dude. I just thought it was so interesting, the way they it's like the meeting that they had when he goes to him and he was like, "Yo, did you burn that fucking greenhouse down?" He was like, "Yeah, it did." That was written out like really. I remember that scene being written out in such a way of like just very meticulous, and that's one of the things that I was thinking about. Like, oh, this would be a rad thing to watch, and it was a rad thing to watch.
Yeah.
The detail. He pulls his handkerchief out. He wipes the corner of his lip. He puts his handkerchief back in, and then the discussion or the dialogue continues. Shit like that. It's interesting.
Yeah, Steven Yeun's a very impressive actor.
He's great.
I like that guy.
He's awesome.
The guy who played Ben?
Walking Dead.
Yeah,
he was great on Walking Dead.
Yeah, I definitely saw him.
Who's he in Walking Dead?
He's what's his name in Walking Dead? Glenn.
Glenn, yeah.
He's Glenn. He's one of the main characters.
Oh, from like early seasons.
Yeah.
He was in the like, first 5 seasons, probably.
Yeah, he was like OG, like main character cast.
Isn't he the one? Yeah, he's the one that fucking Negan kills, right? That changed the whole show. Flipped the whole show upside down.
Yeah.
I had stopped watching by then, but I remember.
Yeah, I remember stopped watching
that
after that. I stopped watching after that because the show just went
once he died.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy fucking turn.
You're like, end Asian hate.
The first 5 seasons of that show was pretty insane.
Yeah, it definitely
the first
dropped.
Episode of that show was amazing.
By then, I think I maybe got through 4 of them. I think around 4, I was like, okay, it's getting goofy. Is it still on, or did it finally end?
I feel like it finally ended. I think it just ended like this year. It was like this year. 10. I think it had like 10 seasons.
Shit, I thought it had like 15. It's been around for a while.
Well, it also has like 4 spinoffs.
There's like 3 or 4 spinoffs.
Yeah, that's right.
Fear the Walking Dead, and then like
Night of the Walking Dead, Dawn of the Walking Dead.
Because I know it totally turned into like a
2 Electric Boogaloo,
like an ensemble cast show. Because it was less about Rick
Beethoven's second
and more about just different perspectives and different people.
Yeah, that's
a huge cast.
Rick, the main character of the show, like dies in like season 6, and then it starts with following other people. People you already know.
Carl. Remember that?
Yeah. They're like, Carl's already dead.
Carl dies. Yeah.
Does Carl also die? Wow.
Yeah,
so they like straight up kill. Did what the redneck guy with
spoilers on Walking Dead?
People weren't expecting that shit.
Is it Daryl? Is Daryl the only one who lasts the whole show?
Daryl's a lot. I think Daryl's been the main guy since Rick died. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Like the guy who kind of just
he's the cheapest one to keep around.
Probably. He's like, I don't know what else I would do.
I don't know.
He's like, we're not making any more Boondock Saints, so I gotta do this.
Right.
Oh yeah. I was thinking of Daryl's brother. Who's that guy?
That guy. That guy's been down for a while.
The one-handed dude.
Yeah.
Remember when they left him on the roof and we were like, oh, he's dead for sure. And then he comes back like fucking what's his name with Channing Tatum as a gimp with one arm.
Yeah.
With his own gang. He's all eating people.
Michael Rooker. There it is.
Michael Rooker, yeah. Dude, that show is awesome. I might watch the first 5 seasons of that again. It was pretty good.
Making me watch.
I'm watching this show called Irma Vep right now. It's about this actress who goes to play like a really significant role, and she like kind of it's just about her life kind of, and like the people who make the movie with her. It's on HBO. It's pretty good. It's Alicia Vikander. It's a pretty good show. There's like 6 episodes out right now. Check it out.
Get out.
Anyway, where are we in this movie?
We're at where he was jerking off in her house.
Yeah,
that was
he's
one of the
still
things
jerking off.
he was
She's still in
doing.
Africa.
Every
We haven't
time he
even
went
gotten to Ben yet.
every time we'll quickly get there. So every time he went to feed the cat, he jerked off in the house. And at one time he was jerking off. She called the house, and I would probably do that.
Wow,
yeah, you love
sicko.
cats.
I jerk off at my girlfriend's house.
You wait till he
time.
fucking shows you his little
but that's your
butthole, and then you start
girlfriend.
beating off.
In his mind, she was kind of the girlfriend because they just banged it out. So I think he was thinking they were like together because he was doing all this stuff for her. And then she eventually gets a phone call.
Jake laying down, no shirt, dick out, cat on his chest.
Oh man, that got too visual.
That would be very uncomfortable.
All right, so he's beating off. Go ahead.
Really,
He didn't see the light ever again while he was beating off. He never got to see that light again.
He was just looking outside at the
chasing
city.
the dragon, dude.
I love this city. First time is always the best.
Oh god. This movie got a high rating for me. I gotta fucking redo this.
So she calls. I guess there was like some weird delay because there was some sort of like terrorist activity in Africa because she's in Africa, and but eventually they go back.
I didn't hear that.
That's when they came back. They said they were delayed.
Oh yeah. We were stuck in the airport for 3 days. I didn't know it was because of terrorists.
She said bombing.
Yeah, bombing. Yeah.
She was like, this trip was to bomb.
Right. So they were stuck together. Them being the only Koreans, she met Ben during that. That's what she's telling Jansu. And then when she gets back, it's just a surprise that she's just with this other guy. So he's clearly not clearly unhappy, but he's not like acting pissed off about it. He's kind of just like, oh, okay.
Well, Ben's awesome too. Like Ben's like handsome. He's rich. Yeah, got superior DNA. He could cook. He smokes weed.
Yeah, super charming.
On The Walking Dead.
He's got a great house.
Smile.
He's a star in the United States.
He looks really good in sweaters.
In the new Jordan Peele movie,
really
he's
good.
killing the game.
He's in the new JPM.
He's in Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, he's in Nope, dude. That looks great.
Are you saying nope or yes? Nope.
I said he's in.
Yes, he's in Nope.
He's older. Continue.
Yes,
he's got a Porsche.
So he's
got a bathroom with 2 sinks.
He's circumcised.
That is a sign of status, having the 2 bathroom sink situation. I've never had it. Never had it.
Yeah.
I'm poor.
I mean, I have 2 sinks, but not
separate rooms.
He's one man. What does he need with 2 sinks in the bathroom?
How am I gonna wash
one man.
my heads in separate sinks?
I've never done that. I've never been rich enough to be able to wash my hands in separate sinks.
That's my left hand sink.
Must be nice. Sinks? I've never been rich.
Last hotel about it actually. Wow, I covered one up, used as a charging station.
Boys.
Anyway, Ben's awesome.
Ben's awesome. They go out to eat. There's another interesting conversation they have here where they start talking about the sun dance that she learns in Africa. Or was it the sun dance or some sort of dance that it's like the sunset dance? I'm sorry, the sunset dance that she learns in Africa.
The hunger dance, isn't it?
It is the hunger dance, but I guess it happens during sunset.
The hunger dance is your chance to do the monk.
And is that where we learn about the big hunger, little hunger?
The first time they meet, they go get tripe, I believe. Yeah. They go get like a stew, and I can't remember what they talk about there. And she falls asleep.
Right. Well, that's
like sleep because they're like drinking all the soju and shit too. Like
yeah.
Well, that's like they were doing shots of that shit.
Yeah, that is where they do talk about the
and she
dance.
starts crying. Oh, she talks about the hunger dance there. I thought that was with the friends, and she actually does the dance.
I think she does the dance later. Like she talks about it and then later shows it.
My bad.
I forgot you watched this movie too. She references the sunset because she mentioned something like she just wants to disappear like the sun.
That's when she starts crying. She was at the Kalahari and she was watching the sunset. In my head, I was like, I've seen sunsets. Like, is the desert any better than the fucking ocean? I don't think so.
I don't know. And then Ben has a comment that he says
ocean sunsets are definitely better.
He's never cried.
Have you been to the Kalahari?
No.
Yeah, neither have I. Don't want to go. She said it was a parking lot. She didn't really sell it. She did start crying. At which point
she did.
Ben said,
I've never shed a tear in my life because I'm a fucking psychopath. He didn't say the psychopath part, but he said he's never shed a tear in his life. He's like, oh, that's interesting.
So
he's always like weirdly observing them, essentially. He's this guy.
Somewhere says in the initial translation, the exact translation is I find humans crying fascinating. In the if that was the exact translation, which is kind of interesting, if that's what they meant, and as if he was not human.
Okay,
interesting, right? So, there's a lot of things. Again, I think we are gonna miss because we don't fucking speak Korean,
right? Well, this is true. He does refer to himself in weird ways throughout this movie.
Yeah. And him being American and not having and not. I think I heard him say Korean was his first language, but he moved when he was 5 and he lived in America or the North America for however long. And then when he went back, he was essentially a foreigner back in Korea, expat. And so that was one of the reasons that the director chose him for this role, is because his accent was going to be a little off, and there was going to be something a little off about him that maybe he's saying all the right words. It's like when an English person is speaking or has a Southern accent. You're just like, what the, or Charlie Hunnam in Sons of Anarchy. Like, I always thought there's something fucking off about the way this guy talks, and I like it. It's interesting. I can never pinpoint it until I saw an interview with him, and I realized he was fucking from a different country.
Right. That makes sense.
Like, so I thought that was interesting too. And his accent could be seen as pretentious, which is like another reason why I think they liked him as the role.
That makes sense. That's a good it's a good note. Yeah, because he's like perfectly cast for this role.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and the fact that he's probably hot as fuck. He's like, also
he's very cute.
You work.
We talking about
Stephen Yeun.
Dong Lee. I wish Dong Lee was in this movie.
We got mad crushes on Stephen Yeun.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, have you seen him?
Yeah.
So he's jerking off. No, yeah.
So they're jerking each other off. No. So yeah,
he likes to see people cry because he's
never cried. Shortly after that, that's when we kind of start seeing the rich side of him, because someone shows up and drops his car off, which is a Porsche. And it's like, well, goddamn, because homeboy Jun Soo is just driving some like beater farm truck.
I think that was a pivotal point in the story too, between him and her, because like he waits for them to leave and they kind of looking at each other for a bit, like as he's putting her shit into his trunk, and
yeah,
back at him, and like all's
like, who am I going with?
All he had to do was say one thing, and she would have been like, all right, I'm coming with you, but he didn't, and he fucked up. You know what I mean? That's a pretty
fucked up. And then she offed herself.
That could have been what happened too.
And then she left. I think they're aliens. I think after this conversation, I think they're aliens, or at least.
So Nope is like a sequel to this movie. You think?
Whoa, I don't know.
Nope is about aliens
or prequel.
You didn't know that?
Were we supposed to know that?
Yeah,
it's implied.
I mean, you didn't see the trailer?
I did see the trailer.
I keep trying to not watch the main trailer. Like
I accidentally watched the main trailer, and I was like, no, don't.
I think I just seen the teaser of like,
I've been to theaters.
Like flags and you see like a farm and clouds in the distance. That's all I've seen.
The teaser's great. I think the teaser gives you enough, but the main trailer, I started noticing it just like saying a bunch of bullshit. I started like not paying attention in the theater. I like start looking at my phone, like talking to myself in my head, because I don't want to know what's going on with this movie.
What do you say to
it? It looks great. Sometimes I just
singing memory from Cats. He starts singing memory from Cats.
I'll tell myself to not.
In his head, he's just singing. He's singing the high notes from memory.
The high notes,
just the high notes.
He's just singing as loud as he can in his head.
I should do that.
That's what I would do.
Sometimes I think about statistics.
I watched The Bodyguard the other day for the first time in a long time. That's a pretty good movie.
Bodyguard.
Not very necessarily a good movie, but it's like a really good movie.
Who's in The Bodyguard?
I saw it maybe a year or so
Kevin
ago.
Costner and Whitney Houston.
And I will always.
Yeah. Kevin Costner's #1 hit.
Movie made a lot of money.
Sure did.
Which one?
The Bodyguard.
BG.
He had just won the Oscar too for directing and producing Dances with Wolves.
That's rad.
That fucking guy.
So he's jerking off in his Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
What? I missed that.
He drives away in his Porsche, and then they go, and then they hang out with their friends next, right? With his friends, his rich friends.
Not directly then. It's a little later.
The dance.
Not yet. There's another beat where he or she invites him for coffee, and then he doesn't realize that Ben's there, and then it's another awkward moment of like, oh, is someone else joining us? And then he comes down, and then this is like a point where I realize like there's a dialogue where he's reading her palm or something like that, and he starts talking about like this stone in her heart and blah blah blah. And then he pulls out a stone and puts it in her heart. And she's like, where'd you get this? And he's like, oh, I got it from outside. And he's like, this is like, several moments or several minutes have gone by now. And she's like, you planned that whole thing out. So you can see that Ben is very meticulous. He has like a lot of little things thought out before he does things. So I noticed that seemed pretty.
He's smooth.
Intricate.
Ben Suave.
Yeah. Yeah. He's always kind of, it's like he's almost like
he's also hitting on like a 20-year-old
in a weird way. Yeah, true. Yeah,
it's not hard to impress a 20-year-old.
Right.
That's true. I never really thought about that. He is definitely a little bit older than both of them, and see that's the thing too. That
they know that. Yeah, because after that that's when they go to his house, and then he even asks her that like, how much older is he? She said like 6 or 7 years, I think she said.
67
But you didn't know
years.
up until then. You know what I mean? It all was kind of like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
You could just tell. Like it almost. Well, I like your theory that he was a serial killer. I've been thinking about that, but I don't necessarily know if that's the case. But if
that's
he's
kind
like
of an
just some,
obvious theory, though. Isn't that what like one of the? Isn't that what they would want you like in the end to kind of think?
I don't know. I don't think I thought too much into that.
Like
the first time around, because he does have those little like the trophies,
like Dexter.
Yeah, that's kind of does tie into that. But then like it's more like the way he treats Jaime, and then later, of course, then we get to the barn burning conversation or the greenhouse burning conversation about how he talks about like this is his hobby. He finds these like specific greenhouses that are they're falling apart anyway, so he's he just gets rid of them, like almost for them, and it's like it's not necessarily looked down upon because cops don't care because those types of people don't really matter. These poor people don't really matter, so they're not going to get looked for. Like greenhouses just blow away sometimes. It's like the rain, how the rain comes in, overfills a dam, causes all this damage, but later on it's fine because the grass grows. He talks about this weird cycle of nature, so it's this weird like. It's almost him justifying that he's a psychopath because of what he does. He thinks will actually cause good in life because he's erasing
circle of life.
He's erasing these like shitty people. Like Jaime is kind of a shitty person. She's broke. She latches onto these people.
So you're immediately going to he's talking about Jaime.
He's talking about a lot of girls.
He's not talking about greenhouses.
He's not talking about greenhouses at all.
Yeah,
he doesn't burn that. He's never shown burning any greenhouses.
Oh,
he doesn't do that. He takes the idea from Ben because Ben tells a story about how
do that.
Or not Ben. Jansu tells a story about how he had to burn his mother's clothes. And his father made him burn the mother's clothes, and he dreams about that fire all the time. So I think Ben just hears fire, looks around, looks at where he's at. He's like, "Oh yeah, I burn." He's like, they were just stoned having this conversation. You think it's this deep conversation, but it's really him sort of admitting that, like, yeah, I just kill people for fun, but they're the type of people that don't matter. They're expendable people. So that's the time, like. The second time I watched was like almost more like way more eye-opening. I liked it both times, but once I had that thought in mind, I'm like, is Ben a serial killer? And then all those little conversations meant so much more.
And it justifies the ending because you're never quite sure what the I get. Well, I don't.
I thought it was more obvious than I think that you guys thought it was. I guess I just thought that was.
But the serial killer part, or that he killed her.
Well, okay. That he killed her, but I mean, when I guess I did the serial killer part is obvious when you see her watch in there, I guess, and that's not until the end. Pretty much the end.
But that still confirms nothing. That could just be girls.
Well, nothing's confirmed. Nothing's confirmed at all. But I think when you're talking about like, did I just think we're supposed to have that in the back of our heads the whole time.
A little bit.
Certainly that he killed her.
That's what this movie's good with. There's a lot of little hints, but nothing's concrete.
Yeah,
so
but also
take
maybe
what you will from all these little things.
Maybe she just bounced because she's got a bunch of debt that she doesn't want to pay.
Yeah, that could be true.
Maybe
Ben's
he's
just a rad dude.
Maybe he's a dude who she owed debt to, and he just got rid of her.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, she didn't leave because of her suitcase. What implied that she didn't leave was her
suitcase was still there.
Listen, the fact that her shit was at his house, the watch and all that shit, like that, he definitely knows what's up. If he didn't kill her, he knows where she is.
And the cat too. The cat is implied in such a way.
It also maybe it's not the cat though.
Right. Because at that point when John Soo went to Ben's house, like he was just kind of outside the house. Ben wasn't expecting him, so he didn't really have time to really clean up anything or get rid of the cat or get rid of the shit in his drawer. But again, this could just be girls leave stuff at his house because that's originally what it's placed there for. But later, the watch is signifying, he kills people
like and collects their belongings. We're seeing this from one perspective, and we're feeling a certain way because of the way that he's feeling and the way that he's discovering certain things.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe Ben's just rad. Maybe she hated that watch. Maybe Ben's middle name is Michelle, and that's why he had that bracelet. Ben Michelle.
See, the thing is that could be it because nothing else is explained in this movie, so that is an option.
Maybe Ben jerked off on the cat.
Oh shit! Every time you just don't know the cat what he was there. It would have been funny if every time before he left you just heard meow. All right. You guys think the cat was there? You think there was a cat?
Yeah, I think there was a cat.
Who was pooping in the litter box if there wasn't a cat? That's what I want to know.
Did you notice, this is going to be really weird, but did you notice when he looks in the litter box, when you see it for the first time, the poop in there, it's not poop colored. It's like pink because like, I guess the type of litter makes it pink so you could see it and when you're scooping it out. But I also thought to myself, what if it's not poop? What if he doesn't notice it, but it's not poop and there's just other shit to think is poop,
Well, who's going in there and randomly putting things that look like poop in there then?
Or who's pooping?
Maybe it's Ben. Maybe it's her. Who knows? Did she? You know what I mean? Maybe they didn't go to Africa. Maybe that bombing thing was a whole cover up for them.
They just stayed. Maybe they
went on a killing spree and needed an alibi.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? It's all up in the air.
It's all
They're like Bonnie and Clyde.
We only know what happened with Jong-soo. We don't know what happened with any of these other motherfuckers. We don't know nothing.
I don't know shit. You ain't gonna get shit out of me.
Leads me to
ain't no rap.
Remember when I said I know
it ain't Friday? And you got a Friday shirt on. I'll
take this Friday shirt out, dude. Viewers don't know it's not Friday.
It's not Friday.
Could be.
It's Wednesday.
It's not Friday.
It's Wednesday. Yes, it is not Friday.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I released this on a Friday. Maybe they're listening to it on a Friday. Maybe it's Friday right now when you're listening to it.
Your Friday shirt's being worn on a Wednesday. Let's just put that out there.
Or watching, because if you're listening, they can't see the Friday shirt.
That was amazing. He just goes and looks the other way.
Shut up.
That was hilarious.
Y'all shut your mouths.
All right. We're getting there. What's going on with this psychopath and this weird cat lady?
Who's jerking off now?
Well,
maybe someone's jerking off in the litter box, and those are just little sperm turds and turn pink once they hit the fucking thing.
Sperm turd is probably my favorite saying of the year so far. Fucking sperm turd.
Wait, we're way past him fucking him and the cat.
Yeah, dude, we're like 45 minutes past that.
We're like Ben's cooking him dinner, right? We gotta get there.
Ben cooked him dinner.
Ben can cook. Ben goes, I eat what I want.
Another weird thing that he said there. He said it's like how people make offerings up to gods. He's like, I cook my own meals and I offer them up to myself.
Yeah.
So he's weirdly referring to himself as a god.
Fuck yeah.
And then going, I guess, forward to that barn burning conversation, like he's
BBC.
He refers to himself like as this like force of nature in so many words, because he compares himself to the rain. It's just weird. The dude
he is a force of nature. Rain, fire.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't actually burn.
Earth, wind.
Yep.
You don't know that, man. You don't know he's never burned a greenhouse.
Right.
Maybe he grows his weed.
I don't know that, but we don't ever see it. And there's no
greenhouse. You know what's the best part is
I'm going to burn it close to you. That's what he was threatening him.
He wasn't threatening, was he? He was just being super psycho about it.
Yeah. So
go on.
Yeah, they eat dinner.
I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
And there was and then the dinner thing. I know. Then after that, there's like a dinner party where Ben has a bunch of his rich friends over, and this is another part where he kind of treats her as like this little item of entertainment. He's like, "Oh yeah, dude, tell him about your silly little dance." And like when she does like the little rain dance, they're all kind of like not watching and kind of like having a little drink. Like Jansu is the only one who's interested, and then he glances over at Ben and he does this like little yawn and smile, little smug.
He's
bastard.
Amused.
Yeah, he's looking.
He's not impressed. He's seen it before.
Yeah.
He looks at Jaime as just entertainment.
It reminds me of that scene in Once Upon a Time when he's like, "Get your daughter to get down here and play her little chili pepper heart out." Yo, that scene is so funny. When he's rehearsing at his pool, he's like, "Okay,
please don't hurt her this time."
That's what I was thinking about. That shit was so funny. Oh man.
That's just
anyway, it is racist. It's super racist. No, it's the way it's portrayed, how nonchalantly is what makes it funny.
Don't cry in front of the Mexicans.
Oh man, I laughed so hard. Anyway, go ahead, Jake.
Come on, out of Mexico, back to South Korea.
South Korea, here we are.
Here we are.
Right on the border of North Korea.
Yes, at least Jansu's location is pretty much. We can just jump to there. Jansu's working on the farm, and then Jaime calls, and they go to his house. Ben and her pop over to his house. They hang out. They have drinks. They smoke some weed. Jaime gets all high and does a topless hunger dance. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then after that,
let's just talk about that shot. Those shots real quick. Pretty beautiful. It went on for about 49 minutes, about half the movie, but it was probably the most beautiful images in the movie.
There were definitely some times I'm like, these are going to be one of those shots that Anthony says like this lingers a bit. This kind of just there's some that they just sit.
If I made a list of what lingered, I would have a lot more on my list because I thought there's a lot of fucking lingering shots.
Yeah,
just him him following him. All of like half of that could have been cut out.
That was good though. They had good suspense there.
The weed smoking, like them passing the joint back and forth. It was great, but and like I said, it was beautiful. It lingered, but her dancing against the sunset like that as the sun went down, and I thought again took forever, but we watched almost the whole ball drop while they were smoking that joint. Just a reverse shot of them three. Smoking, passing it. And it lingered so long that we watched the ball drop in behind the mountains, and I thought that was kind of cool. They used real-time
sunset in a movie.
Real-time sunset, and they had a lot of good sunset shot. They used the sun very well in this shot. I think it's the same DP as Parasite, so they had a dude knows what he was doing. He won. I mean, that movie won fucking best movie ever, right?
It did. Best movie ever.
I thought the cinematography in general was pretty rad. They had a lot of really cool locked off wide shots in infinite focus with just all kinds of shit going on way in the background. There was just always something to look at. You could choose what you wanted to look at. I think that was one of my main points of why I what I liked about it. This film, this guy, Chang. I can't pronounce his name.
So yeah, that scene leads into Jaime essentially passes out after that part with the dancing. She dances herself up into a nap, and Jung-soo and Ben are left alone, and that's when they have that whole conversation about, he talks about having the dreams about his mother burning the mother's clothes. He talks about the greenhouse burning, which I believe is a giant metaphor for him being a serial killer. And what do you guys have any comments on that scene, or should we just keep moving forward?
I said what I said.
All right. Well, this is the last time
it lingered, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, this is essentially the last time we see Jaime, because like the sunset, she disappears, she vanishes forever, which is what she wanted to do the whole time.
Well, and she also
earlier dialogue.
She also the last thing that Jung-soo says to her is basically just calls her a whore for taking her.
That's right. Yeah. So he's a douche. The first, or like the last moment.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Okay, she's not a whore.
That's what. Not you. That's what you're telling.
I was mad about that.
We never. We're just saying what Jung-soo said.
Jung-soo is very.
Jung-soo's a bitch.
Super peanut butter and jelly right now. Yeah. He's got this fucking super hottie, huge American star actor.
They hate him because he ain't him.
He hate him because he ain't him, and he's sad, and he's lashing out on her.
He's young,
and Ben's a nice guy by all. Everything we've seen, Ben just seems like a pretty nice, kind of pretentious, but generally a nice dude.
He has that weird pretentious charm.
Certainly. He's just rich.
Yeah. He's like one of the guys you would like dislike from afar, but then you meet him and you're like,
yeah, oh, certainly. Fuck that guy.
That guy was great.
But nice, nice guy.
Yeah.
Great kisser. Loved him on Walking Dead.
Yep. Minari is another good one. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. I doubt it.
No, I watched him talk about it. I watched an Actors on Actors with him and the guy that plays the main dude in The Sound of Metal.
Amir Ahmed. We got that one together.
Yeah, Riz Ahmed. Yeah.
With our powers combined.
I actually think that guy makes really bold and interesting choices in movies. They're not always like home runs, but they're always pretty interesting characters.
Yeah, Riz Ahmed's pretty great.
The movies are always like Nightcrawler. He's in this movie called it's like an alien invasion movie on Prime, but like it's about a dude with PTSD, and it's really really good.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, and then did you guys watch the one he did where he plays like the rapper who like can't like rap anymore? That was a fucking great movie too.
Rapper can't rap, drummer can't hear.
That's it's kind of he did.
There was parallels, but
it's parallels, but totally
parallel lines.
Yeah.
They were both very good. They did a good job in both.
What it is the movies are always like good, like they're good movies, but it's his performance that always is the standout of those movies. Like he's good. He's really, really good at playing those like bleak, fucking sad characters.
I believed him as deaf.
He was in the first Venom movie. He was the villain, which that movie was terrible. Anyway.
He said he wore these blockers, basically just sound blockers, earplugs that made him deaf on set.
Yeah. Did you guys watch Sound of Metal?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good movie.
Anyway, Actors on Actors with those two, and he was talking about Sound of Metal, and he was talking about Minari. Is that what it was called?
Minari, yeah.
Minari.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think they both got nominated at the same time, Oscar-wise, for those two movies.
Yeah, that's probably why they were in that show, Actors on Actors.
Probably so. So, in Burning,
Jaime.
Last
time we see Jung-soo calls Jaime a whore.
Yep, and then some time passes.
We see him jerking off again.
I don't think we see him jerking off until later on again.
You know what else he was in that was really good? I'm sorry to interrupt, but did you guys see The Night Of with John Turturro on HBO? He was really good in that too.
Yes.
That was a pretty great
Is that
series.
the Big Lebowski sequel?
No, but it's really good. It's like a crime movie where John Turturro plays like a lawyer and this dude's like might have killed somebody. It's pretty good. It's really good.
I do love Turturro's.
Mm-hmm.
Go on. A month passes.
Is it a month? I couldn't
so.
remember if they actually gave time, but yeah, that sounds right.
When he goes to, well, actually, I think this is like montage of him checking out greenhouses.
Oh yeah. Because he starts looking for the greenhouses.
By the time he meets up with Ben again, it's a month.
I think they say it's a month. You're right. Because she's showing at work at like some factory, and he was trying to get a job at some factory. Then he calls Jaime, and she doesn't answer. He leaves a message, and then throughout the movie, he keeps trying to get a hold of her, things of that nature.
And at the same time, he's looking for, because that conversation they had while Jaime was sleeping while they were high was, not only do I burn greenhouses, I burn them once every about 2 months. I find the right one, and then he says, I was scouting here, which is one of the reasons I came here, because I was scouting, because there's a greenhouse very nearby that needs some burning down. And he was like, oh, what do you mean? He was like, there's a greenhouse really close. He's like, close to here? He was like, Jaime. He's like, really close to here. So that's kind of an important part of that conversation.
Yeah.
So at that point, he's so what is it? It is that he is afraid that he was talking about Jaime. So that's why he's looking for a literal greenhouse.
I don't even know if he initially makes the connection, because he doesn't really realize she's missing for a little while. They just don't hear from each other because he was a dick. And time
but he goes
passes.
to her house. I mean, doesn't he go to her house before
eventually
during all this?
I think that's once he realizes she's gone. Then that's kind of when the search begins. He kind of starts looking for her, but at the same time, he's looking for greenhouses that the dude burnt down. And I think that's kind of when he starts putting it together. I think eventually he does start thinking like maybe that's what he means. Like he maybe killed her, burnt her with a greenhouse or something. Like somehow she's gone.
Also, he's like a world-class jogger now.
Yeah, he's jogging all the time. Got to stay fit.
Stay fit. Never seen him jog before. Now he's jogging every day.
True. He doesn't go to the city anymore. He's just jogging around.
Because now at this, I encourage exercise.
Because at this point, he needs to. Oh no, he doesn't get. I was gonna say his father gets sentenced, but that's not till a little later. But anyway, he starts. He starts looking. He runs into Ben a couple times. At one point, he does go to Ben's house. That's when he finds the bracelet. The bracelet's in the drawer with the other girls' belongings.
Let's just jump forward to the month, because that's when we see him following Ben for the first time. He starts to stalk Ben. Essentially, he goes to Gangnam, where the rich part of area, known for Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Remember that song? That's like the rich part of Korea.
Never heard of it.
You know this song. You look like the guy. So he's stalking Ben at this point, and then he follows him to like the coffee shop. Then he goes to the coffee shop. And that's when Ben's like, that's when they kind of talk about what's her name, Jaime. They talk about her a little bit. See if have you seen her? Have I seen her? I haven't seen her. And then he goes, hey, remember that fucking greenhouse you were gonna burn? And he was like, yeah, I do remember that. He was like, did you ever burn it? He was like, yeah, I fucking burnt that shit.
I do.
He was like, the one close to my house? He was like, yeah, super close to your house. I burnt that shit to the ground like it never existed.
Yeah. Then he's like, how's Jaime?
How's Jaime? Oh, yeah. How's your girl? How's your greenhouse? I mean, girl.
Well, then he does say something weird after that too, because he ends up meeting up with another girl. When they leave, he tells Jong-soo that Jaime told him that she thought Jong-soo was very special and that he was the only person that she could trust.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he was slightly jealous of that.
Mm-hmm. And like crying, he had never felt jealousy before.
Right. So it's
he's a psycho.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
that's when you start wondering. It's like
he's a calculated psycho. Though. Maybe he's not a psycho. Maybe he's just a really smart guy who's bored and rich, and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna do what I want.
I think that's really what it is.
Tiddlywinks with their hearts.
I'm just gonna put makeup on bitches and then kill them.
Yeah, that part was strange too, because that was never really.
We see the little makeup kit the first time that they go to his house.
Yeah.
And we never really, it's never explained.
There's a weird scene that shows him putting on makeup and then putting it on another girl, but I feel like that was out of place because the whole movie's in Junsu's perspective. So it seemed like that was more of him thinking about Ben, because this was like right before.
So yeah, I see what you're saying.
From right before that, I think, is when we see him begin to actually write his story.
Yeah. So maybe it's
from that point on, none of it might be,
also true. Yeah, the killing part
that's also
might
true.
Not have happened. It could have been him writing, because he was writing, and then that's when Ben answers the phone. That kind of ties into the theory a little bit harder, because Ben answers the phone. The phone call is implying that he's going to meet up with Junsu. But that's just another one of those little ambiguous notes.
The end.
I like it though. I do like it.
And then
just kidding, not the end.
Kills him. Burns his clothes, just like he does. Oh wait, he did meet his mother. He met up with his mother at one point.
Yeah, I didn't really understand the necessary. I guess just to show that she sucks.
Yeah, and I think there was just the parallels between his mother and Jaime, like that he clearly has like mother issues, essentially. Like
she also confirmed that there was a well. Well, she said that. Seems to remember a well.
Or does she just want to be like, yeah, sure? Because she doesn't seem to give a shit about the son anymore. Like she
just went to ask for money.
Ask for money. He said, I'll take care of it. And then she gets on her phone, and then he asks her a question. She's like, yeah, sure. So one of the most unreliable or the two most unreliable characters are the only ones that say there was a well. And they also are like, they owed money, similar parallels. So I think they just wanted to maybe tie that in for some reason. Maybe put a little something on the mother, because he's clearly traumatized.
Cherry on top.
Yeah.
So maybe he's got to sell his dad's calf to pay for his mom's debts. That's kind of what happened, right? That's what we saw next.
It seemed like it. And then also the fact that the father was now actually sentenced to like 1.5 years in prison.
So let's talk about the actual buildup. He's still stalking. Let's go back a little bit. He's stalking what's his name in his neighborhood. The guy calls him. He's like, "Yo, where you at?" And he's like, "Oh, no." And then he knocks on the window. He's like, "Yeah, you're right fucking here. Come on in." He's like, "Okay, you can park in the garage because I'm rich, bitch." And then he's like, "I'm having friends over. We're gonna have a little party." He goes into his house. They're hanging out. He's like, "I got to use the restroom." He goes to the restroom, looks into the thing, and that's where he sees the pink wristwatch that he had given what's her name in the very beginning. So right then he's like, he has fun. He already thought he may have something to do with it. Now he's almost certain. He goes out. Something I don't know how. What triggers them to talk about the cat? Oh, you have a cat now? Yeah, I just got a cat. I got a stray. Another. Oh, fuck. This one cat. Cat gets out. They're chasing the cat around. He calls the cat. He calls the cat Boyle, which was the girl's cat's name. It responds to him, but like, why? It never responded or even showed its face before. So I thought that was a little weird. But he takes that as just final proof, essentially. And he tells him when he's leaving, the guy's like, did you want to, like, he said, what did he say? He was like,
I think, do you still need to talk about Jaime or something?
He was like no, I know what happened now. Essentially, he was like, I figured it all out. And then I think we cut from there to go to him writing. And then we see him call Ben out to middle of nowhere. Ben's like, "Hey man, let's talk about," and then step.
Well, he tells him she's with him.
That's true. He does.
Jiangsu says Jaime's with him.
Yeah. That's why Ben ends up showing up.
That's why Ben comes out.
Yeah.
Which also
right there, it's like, what?
What if it was like, Ben, I need you to get in this trunk. Take this gun, get in the trunk. We're gonna drive around. I just need you to pop out. You don't need to shoot nobody. You just gotta scare him.
Rack that motherfucker.
He's like, I'm not getting in no fucking trunk.
That's one of the best scenes in movie history. Jackie Brown.
It's right over your head.
Yeah,
Jake. JB, right next to KB.
The Chris Tucker scene.
And IB. Man, a lot of B's. A lot of something B's. Inglourious Bastards, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill.
Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, a lot of bees.
Baby Driver.
Once Upon a Time in Bollywood.
Stab, stab, stab. He then does a little burning of himself, of his own.
Yeah, he burns that shit.
Just like the literal burning of the greenhouses, he poured gasoline or kerosene on him, lit him on fire, got naked, burned all his clothes, just like he burned his mom's clothes, got in his car and bounced. Naked. Naked as the day is long.
Yeah. That was a good ending.
Indeed.
Indubitably.
Jinx, you owe me a soda, idiot.
Indubitably.
Oh, well, that was a fucking long movie.
It was long. I liked it though. It was very
enjoyed it.
Good. Shifted genres a little bit at times, which is always fun.
So your end theory is he was a serial killer.
Ben's a serial killer.
I'm thinking
watch it again.
I'm thinking maybe that was never, regardless of the serial killerness, that was who he met was not Jaime Adams.
I think that was still her.
I don't. So
I don't want it to be her.
Like, why
you told me your theory. You told me your theory. I didn't disagree with you.
Why would they just pick him though?
Idiot.
What do you mean?
Is she like associated with Ben in that theory?
She killed Jaime. She became her. She lied and said she had plastic surgery, and that's why he doesn't recognize her. And she made a bunch of bullshit.
And then what happened to her?
All the stories that she had, the only time she didn't have real good information about stories unless she was out there like looking at shit. She's like, oh yeah, I was over there and my well was over here. And that all might have been bullshit. I think she killed Jaime. She became Jaime. She told him she was Jaime. And then she was going to kill him, but she met Ben. Ben killed him. Her.
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams, dude.
Okay.
That made me laugh so
what Gangnam Style.
Oh, yeah. Great movie, though. Good movie. Interesting. I definitely need to watch it again. Well made, though.
Yeah.
Kind of hated the guy who played the main character, but it's fun.
Why?
I don't know. It's just, I got to watch it again.
You're not going to, though.
No, I'm gonna. Definitely am. I rented it. I have another 24 hours.
Why didn't you watch it twice before we did a podcast?
I didn't have time.
You got no time?
You got so much time.
Man.
Well, this is good. Now let's watch the Australian fire burning. I gave this a 6.8125.
Okay, that's a good one. I'm gonna give it a solid 7.
Nice.
Give it a 9.
9.
9.
What would you say its best quality is?
The writing.
Yeah, the characters, the fact that they're so ambiguous, but they play their specific role of who they are. You just don't really know who they are, but they play it very well. Like they are playing somebody you're interested in wanting to know more about, which is really good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of little weird subtleties, little intricacies to every character. A lot of that was like a lot of the dialogues and a lot of the scenes are very, very specific. It's very well written.
Yeah, and I thought it looked cool.
Yeah, I thought it looked great.
It looked amazing.
I thought it was shot really awesome. They shot it cool. They must have used a good camera.
She was in 1080p.
Yeah. Watch it. Burning. Music was cool too, especially like toward the end. Got a little psycho-y.
A little jazzy. It had a Hitchcocky vibe, especially in those like later, the latter half. That was like more of the mystery. The driving scene specifically. I kept waking up to that because it was like repeating. The first time I watched, I fell asleep. It was like repeating that little like toward the end. I was like, what the fuck is going on? That's when I was like, oh no, this is gonna be a long movie because I fell asleep during the first time and I woke up like 3 times and the movie was still on. Luckily, I enjoyed it when I fully watched it. So I did watch it kind of a couple times. Good. It's like how I watched Salton Sea and you were mad at me about it. Yeah. Well, but I watched it from beginning to end. I didn't like continue it like you did. No, I watched it.
Try to watch it without.
always
Did you
watched it
watch
from
it on your
beginning
phone,
to
Jake? Did you try that?
I did with Burning.
Cool. It's crazy, right? You're constantly just looking at the fucking movie.
I
Not
didn't put it
looking
in
at
the other
anything
room, but I
else.
didn't look at my
Oh,
phone.
I did. That's
I
how I
take
had
notes on my
room.
phone, but I don't look at. I'm not like scrolling Instagram when I'm watching.
Yeah, that's the thing. I take the notes on my phone, so it helps.
That's all I have.
Yeah,
I'm not distracted.
I should put it in airplane mode. That would be a good move, because then I still have access to my phone, but like shit's not coming in. I'm not like Googling stuff or looking things up.
This conversation got boring. Watch Burning. What's the next one?
Ooh, I don't know.
Wait, do you want to hear my prequel idea real quick?
Oh
I talked about it earlier.
Whose choice is it?
From I think
My
it's
choice.
Schwartzy this time.
God.
Like basically an American Psycho version, but with Ben. Like show Ben's perspective of all this. If my serial killer theory is correct, like the Ben serial killer movie, it'd be interesting of how he does this, and like how he meets people and things like that.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. He was definitely the most interesting character.
Yeah.
Sick, dude. You must have put a lot of thought into that.
Not really. just thought about it a little bit. I'm like, that'd be cool to see.
All right. I've got 3 choices.
Just kidding.
All right, ready?
I
These are
like
the
it.
choices.
Good idea.
Ready?
What?
I'm ready. Go.
White Men Can't Jump,
Whoa.
Serial Mom, and Rounders. Those are the 3. Which one do we do? You've seen Rounders? Damn, I was hoping you guys hadn't seen Rounders.
I'm pretty familiar with Rounders.
Rounders.
It's
Classic.
such a good movie.
Serial Mom?
Serial Mom's a John Waters movie with
Never heard of it.
It's like a dark comedy, but it's also kind of like it's almost like satirical, kind of like playing on like the love of serial killers in America and how they treat like celebrities. And it is, she's like this. She's just this housewife mom, and she starts killing people, but like no one knows except for her. And it's pretty crazy. It's a crazy movie. It's what's her name? From she's been in so many things.
Oh yeah.
Oscar winner. Oh god damn, I can't remember.
Keanu
Anyways,
Reeves.
it's a great movie.
Philip
I've
Seymour
definitely
Hoffman.
never seen Serial Mom. I feel
Have
like
you
I've
seen White
seen.
Men Can't Jump? Because that's
I feel
a
like
great
I have.
fucking movie.
I don't remember it though. Like I know I've.
It's Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
amazing.
I remember that. That's.
I don't
And
think I've
Rosie
watched it.
Perez.
I don't think
Oh,
I've
really?
I have not seen that.
I'm
know it.
So then
more intrigued by Serial Mom. It doesn't sound good, but I'm more. That sounds more intriguing. The story of it.
Think of like a Christopher Guest movie if it was like really dark.
Okay.
That's what Serial Mom kind of is.
Okay. And have you seen these movies recently? Because we don't want to do the thing where it's like you haven't seen it and it sucks.
Yeah, you
I
son of a
watched-
You
bitch.
keep changing that. And keep doing that.
I have not watched these movies recently.
Whatever. Who cares?
But White Men
Let's
Can't
just
Jump,
pick
I
it and
remember
do
being like really good. So I think I'm gonna pick White Men Can't Jump.
Okay.
All
Young
right.
Woody Harrelson, young Wesley Snipes, basketball movie. It's pretty good.
Directed by
Ron Shelton.
Ron Shelton.
Yeah. He's directed a lot of big
My
movies.
second favorite Ron.
It wasn't the other one's John Waters. What has John Waters done? Who is that?
John Waters is the guy who did like Pink Flamingos and shit. Like those
John
Sean
Waters is the
Connery
guy who
movies.
does
Oh,
drunk,
okay. So that makes Serial Mom
Drunk
even
history.
slightly more intriguing. It also could be very bad.
All right, you want to watch Serial Mom? Let's watch it. That was my first pick. But
either way, I mean, sure, your pick.
which one do you want to watch?
Next movie we're watching is Serial Mom.
All right, let's watch Serial Mom.
But I do want to watch White Men Can't Jump.
could be a bad choice.
So I think we should watch White Men Can't Jump.
I never seen that.
Yeah, your pick. Let's go.
Seems
yeah.
like something I
White
should
Man.
watch.
Let's
Seems
watch
like a
White Men
classic.
Can't Jump. Yeah,
All right, White Man
let's go with that.
Sounds good.
White Man Can't Jump. Maybe we want to
Turn it up. Turn it off.
All right.